It started as an ordinary evening in Black Hollow, a small town nestled deep in the valley, surrounded by thick, ancient woods. The sky was clear, the moon casting its pale glow over the quiet streets. Then, without warning, the fog arrived. Thick, white, endless. It poured in like a living thing, crawling over the hills, sliding through the trees, swallowing everything in its path. At first, the townspeople thought nothing of it. Just another misty night. But as the hours stretched into dawn, the fog remained. It did not move, did not shift. It simply waited. Then the disappearances began. Sheriff Tom Grayson stood on the steps of his office, squinting into the mist. He had lived in Black Hollow all his life and had seen every kind of storm roll through, but nothing like this. "Ain't natural," he muttered, adjusting the brim of his hat. A call came in. Then another. Then another. Mrs. Lambert's boy had vanished from their front porch. He had been playing with his toy truck, laughing, just moments before. She had turned for barely a second, and he was gone. Then the Martins reported their teenage daughter never came home from the store. By the end of the night, 7 people were missing. And the fog did not lift. By the second day, the town was in a panic. People locked their doors, nailed their windows shut. But the fog seeped through cracks in the wood, through keyholes, creeping into homes like a silent predator. At night, strange noises echoed through the streets, whispers, footsteps, knocking against second-story windows. Then came the first message. Scrawled across the town square, written in something dark and slick, were the words, "We are here. We have always been here." Sheriff Grayson and a few others scrubbed the message away, but by morning it reappeared, this time on the walls of every house in town. On the third night, the town's population had shrunk by nearly half. No one saw it happen. No screams, no struggle, just silence. And in the morning, more empty houses. The air was thick, suffocating. The fog did not move as normal fog did. It waited. It watched. And then the whispers started. First, faint murmurs drifting through the mist, then clearer. They called people by name. By midnight, the town of Black Hollow had become a waking nightmare. The survivors, those who had not fled or vanished, gathered in the old church. It was the only place the fog hesitated to enter. "We have to leave," whispered Margaret Evans, her hands trembling. "We have to." A sound cut her off. A long, slow scraping noise from outside the church walls, like fingernails dragging across the wood. Then came a voice. "You cannot leave." Something moved in the fog, something tall, watching, waiting. The figures within the mist weren't just shadows. They were something else. Something hungry. Then the final horror came. The fog surged forward, tendrils curling through the broken church windows. It wasn't just mist, it was something alive. It wrapped around their feet, their arms, pulling them back, dragging them into its depths. Screams echoed through Black Hollow as the fog swallowed the last of them. And then, just as quickly as it had come, it vanished, leaving nothing behind but silence. Years passed. The town of Black Hollow remained abandoned, its streets overgrown, its buildings rotting. No one dared to step foot there. Until one night, when a lone traveler wandered into town. He paused, frowning at the faded sign welcoming him to Black Hollow. The wind shifted, and from the distance, creeping through the trees, the fog began to roll in once more. Nathan Holloway had no idea why he had taken the detour through this part of the state. The road had been blocked, forcing him down an old dirt path that led straight to the abandoned town. His GPS flickered, lost its signal. He should have turned back, but something pulled him forward. As he stepped onto Main Street, the air thickened. The fog wrapped around his legs, swirling like a living thing. And then, from the distance, a voice whispered his name. "Nathan?" He spun around. There was no one there. His heartbeat thundered as he turned to leave. But when he reached his car, the road was gone. Only fog remained. Nathan ran. The town was dead, but he swore he saw movement in the windows, shadows shifting, watching. Then the whispers began again, louder, closer. The fog thickened, pressing in from all sides. Nathan fell to his knees, gasping for breath as the air grew heavy, damp, suffocating. A cold hand brushed his shoulder. He turned, and the fog swallowed him whole. Some say Black Hollow never existed, that it was just a ghost story, a warning passed down through generations. But every so often, when the night is at its darkest, a traveler goes missing along that lonely stretch of road. And if you listen closely, you can hear the fog whispering, calling your name, waiting for you to step inside.